listening to The TD Show.
Touchdown Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle! Tennessee has pulled a miracle!
Broadcast live on thetdshow.com.
There goes Davis! Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back! Auburn's going to win the football game! Auburn's going to win the football game!
2 hours of the best sports talk on the planet. Or at least out of Edmonton, Kentucky.
Batted up. Oh, God! Stokely down the sideline! Can he catch him? Stokely! Wow! Touchdown! Denver! Unbelievable!
Coming to you live, your hosts, TJ and Dan.
Here comes the
All right, welcome back to the third segment. Here, starting our second of 3 hours this morning of the TD Show. Pretty much been all college basketball this morning. That's where we're going to stay right now. A lot of games going on today. A lot of games with some impact into the bubble that we talked about, into the tournament standings, and just a lot of games that should be good. I think TJ's got the rundown of all the games that should be going on today, and maybe his version of what you ought to be watching in the college basketball world.
Yeah, we have LSU going to Florida. We both feel like that's a big game for LSU.
Not so much for Florida. They have nothing to lose, nothing to win there. LSU has everything to gain. If they can beat Florida, I think it skyrockets them into a tournament team.
If they win, they're in.
Yeah.
But I think if they just play well,
play close at Florida,
right?
It's definitely a pretty good bargaining chip have on the table there.
Then you have Syracuse at Virginia, who is 15-1 in the ACC, going to win the ACC regular season.
What about that? What about Virginia? Did you see that coming?
No, but I mean they had the easiest schedule
they
of
were
the
on
big
the wrong
three,
side
of the big four, I guess.
Yeah.
But North Carolina, Syracuse, Duke, all beat up on each other.
Is North Carolina going to make the tournament? They ought to miss the tournament.
No way.
North Carolina.
North Carolina is going to get in and win a few games. They're playing really well.
They are back to playing well, but you looked at them at Christmas time and you said they're not making the tournament.
And that's when Virginia played North Carolina.
I know.
And they played Duke there those first few games where Duke wasn't playing very well at all. They got really lucky with how their schedule panned out this year.
I agree.
After that, we got Kansas at Oklahoma State, game we talked about. A big game for Oklahoma State.
Huge game for Oklahoma State. Kansas coming into town, and I think it's a game Oklahoma State can win now that they have back all their players. And we know they got Marcus Smart back. We know how tough it can be to play in Oklahoma State.
Right. Of all the games today, I think that this game will probably be, if you have to watch a game, this game will probably be the best one to watch.
I agree.
Then we have U of L at Memphis, two ranked teams. I think we both probably think that U of L wins that game, though.
I do believe that U of L is going to beat Memphis. I think Memphis is playing very well. I really, really like their coach. Been there for 3 years, young guy. Here's a little funny story about their coach. Not that this has much bearing on the game. Got his first coaching job at 16 years old.
Is that right?
Paid coaching.
Where
job.
at?
A AAU team. His father was a coach his whole life, college coach and stuff. He also started writing a scouting report at the age of 13 and selling it for money. This was all in the Houston area of Texas. Pretty cool guy to listen to. I heard him for about an hour. He was on Joby and Denny for almost a whole hour talking one morning. Just a very, very interesting guy.
Another game, a big Big 12 game, Iowa State at Kansas State. Kansas State probably needs to win that game, and it's probably a game they can win at home.
Yes, I think Kansas State can win that game at home. Kansas State's pretty tough to play at home, just like Oklahoma State. That's a theme with the Big 12, I guess, is the home games there's a big favor there.
Minnesota at Michigan, which
I have really kind of got on the Michigan train lately. They've been playing very well.
They can beat really good teams, but Minnesota's not a real good team.
That's kind of Minnesota's MO too, is they come in and put it to the tough teams. Like Indiana, played Indiana at home. I think it could actually be a lot better game than if you just look at the numbers. What it would be, just the way that both teams are built.
And then somewhat big time game of the day, Texas at Oklahoma. two teams that probably need a win.
Both teams do need a win.
I mean,
Both
Texas
teams
is
should get in.
Texas is in, but they need to win.
To do.
Yeah.
They're in, but they got work to do as far as seeding goes. They can make up some ground and maybe get to stay a little closer to home if they do some work.
And maybe if Oklahoma wins a game or two, they get in.
Get a shot, yeah.
But we got our first caller on the line here. Just a reminder that all callers are brought to you by Hoover Auto Parts. Hoover Auto Parts are the most reliable auto parts in the industry and keep you on the road through the most extreme conditions. I believe we have Bruce on the line. Bruce, are you there? How's it going this morning, man?
It's going all right. Just get the kids to sleep, so I got a little free time.
I hear you. Well, Dan hears you. I'll hear you in a few months.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, we are kind of on baby watch today during the show.
A little bit.
I mean, there could be a baby come right now, and I would have to get up and leave, and Dan would have to finish this show himself.
Or he could be like me, and when my wife had our baby, I ate a bowl of cereal, took a shower, watched a little TV. She wasn't happy about it.
Well, we had a false alarm the other night, and I actually took a shower before we went because I figured it'd be last home shower for a couple of days. So
yeah.
I wanted to get it in if I could. Yeah, it's just not the same.
Yeah, I guess something like that in the shower.
Natalie asleep, or is she working this today?
No, she's asleep. She woke last night.
So I know that y'all went fishing after the show last week. So if you could give us a little tale from the lake of what went on.
Well, it started off, I guess, as slow as it could start off.
Pretty slow. Water was pretty muddy.
Yeah, the water was, probably had about 6 inches of clarity. But I guess we both started off throwing some jigs, football jigs, and I guess we went about one whole round around the lake, didn't get a bite all day. Just so happened about 5 minutes to go before we decided it was about time to get off. Daniel had to go take Roy to a birthday party. About 5 minutes before we left, it just so happened Daniel got hooked on the bottom of the lake, and I ended up catching a good fish and getting it wrapped around his line. I don't know how it didn't come off, but
a fish that we have put up on our web page on the Outdoor World page. If anybody wants to take a look at that.
Yeah, we were headed back to the truck, coming back, and I threw everything I had in my tackle box. And I was throwing an umbrella rig, and I got it hooked on a log, and ended up losing about $20 in that deal. But I had it hooked, and I turned the boat around and was backing it up trying to unhook it, and Justin hooks this big bass and gets it wrapped up, and I'm falling out of the boat, and he eventually ends up handing me his pole and kind of leans over the side and wrangles it in. I don't know how it stayed on. It managed to come in contact with the boat a few times, get wrapped around a fishing line, handle a pole changeover, and it still stayed on. We got it in the boat.
So y'all have plans for more fishing this weekend?
well, I don't know about this weekend. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, if it's not snowing. We might get some snow tomorrow. It might be cold.
That would hinder some fishing.
Yeah, today might be a good day.
Yeah, it looks nice outside right now.
Well, we're ahead of a front. There's a front supposed to move in tonight. It's kind of overcast. The water's probably cleared up some from last week, so if you want to go fishing, it might be a good day.
We also uploaded a picture of a buck you killed this past year, I believe it was. If you could give us the story behind that.
Well, honestly, I've never really liked deer hunting. I guess I can't say I've never liked it. I've never been. I never liked the idea of going out and being cold and sitting still. But I thought I'd give it a try this year, and I was hunting on a property that's not really been hunted too much in the last 30 years. So I like my chances. I seen a lot of deer, and it was my first time out. I let a couple go by. Honestly, a couple little 6-8 pointers, thinking. This could be, I'd like to shoot it, but there could always be a bigger one. And just so happened the first morning, I was just hunting afternoons, and the first morning I was sitting out in my stand hunting over a hayfield. I just, I see a doe in the corn pile, look up to her left, and I look over, and there's that buck. And, of course, it was probably about 100 yards away.
How many points was it?
It ended up being 10 points. But it was pretty pretty good spread on him. I think it was 20 inches inside.
A real good sized deer.
Yep, especially for my first one, I thought.
Yeah, it was
I
a nice buck. Probably 135-inch gross score, if I had to guess.
I can't remember the exact conversation, but I believe we were texting each other that day.
Yeah.
And what was it that you told me that you were hunting with? Do you recall?
Was it I don't know. Was it
It was a bizarre conversation because I thought you were being serious, but you really weren't.
Maybe like a 9mm or a 22 or something.
I believe it was a 9mm. You said you were hunting with, and I was like, I don't know how much luck you're gonna have with the 9mm deer hunting. But yeah, I believe that might have been right.
Yeah, it was. Ended up being. I borrowed Timmy Coffey's. His 30-06 is the first gun he had ever bought. He bought it when he was a teenager. So,
I've actually shot that gun, Bruce. Can you believe that?
You have?
I have. I've shot that gun. Sighted it in one time.
Well, it's a good shooting gun. And
It is a nice gun.
I appreciate it.
Me
Appreciate him letting me use it.
Me and Dan were just actually talking about him yesterday. I believe you might know. I believe he used to go to Michigan and bear hunt. Have you ever talked to him about that?
No, I've never heard that. No, I have heard he's gone out west and been on some elk hunts.
Yeah, he used to go elk hunting every year, but this I think he was training. Just let him tell the story.
I remember it was when I was in high school and we were out at the park playing basketball, and he was running around the track there, the outer track, with like bricks in a backpack, and I asked him what he was running for, because it's not every day you see a 45-year-old man out there running with a backpack on. So he told me the story. I believe he was going to Michigan to bear hunt, and I guess he was kind of training, in case a bear ever started running after him. He dropped his gun, and he needed to be able to run for a while.
I think the big thing is just the terrain and the
right.
conditions of that is a lot different than just sitting in a stand.
Yeah, that's true.
You don't got to be in too good a shape to walk to a stand and sit down, but when you're out there, especially with elk hunting, or I know the Parsons, they go out west and they go up in the mountains and the altitude and all that changes, and I guess it does take some training. But no, I've never heard of him going to Michigan and bear hunting.
Maybe we can get him on one day. Have him talk.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear a story about it. Hands down, best storyteller in Edmonton.
Is that right?
Speaking of Timmy Coffey, when are we going smallmouth fishing, Justin?
Well, actually, I talked to him this morning. I saw him when he was dropping the mail off. I talked to him.
We need to get that set up.
I think we're talking about next Sunday after church.
Is that an invite?
That's an invite.
I'll be there.
I think we gotta figure out a day to dip some fantails.
All right, just let me know. I got a bucket.
Where's this going down at?
Well, I don't know where we're going. Where are we going?
I think we're going to Green River Lake.
Going over to Green River Lake.
Sounds good. We'll talk about it on the show here in 2 weeks.
We can't take Daniel's boat out there.
No. Might not be too safe.
There's talks of a new brag boat.
Yeah, I've been looking at a boat. Have I showed you this boat I've been looking at, Justin?
No, you haven't.
I'll send you
about it.
Yeah, I'll send you the pictures after the show today.
Was it that I can't remember.
It's just a big. Yeah, I saw it on Craigslist. I've been texting the guy.
For some reason, I thought you said Camelsville.
No, it's in Smiths Grove.
Well, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, I was way off.
Yeah, other direction, but yeah,
Yep.
we'll see. I'm trying to Jew him down a little bit. I don't know if I can say that on the radio.
No, probably not.
Trying to talk him down a little bit. But
guys, I got a question for y'all.
Okay.
Let the experts answer this. Obviously, Wichita State's going to be a number 1 seed.
Right.
Okay, they won today.
Right.
Are they going to be the overall number 1?
No way. I don't think so.
Okay, well, obviously, everybody knows. I think everybody deep down knows they're not the best team, but you can't deny what they did last year.
Well,
that's true. I mean, that's true. What they did last year was impressive.
Here's the thing. I think if Syracuse has a bad showing the rest of the year, and Florida has a bad showing the rest of the year,
Wichita State could be the overall
They could be the
seed.
overall number one.
I agree. I see what you're saying.
But if one of them wins the SEC or ACC tournament, I believe they're probably the number one seed.
I guess the best thing Wichita State has going for them is they might not have the best players, and they might not, score them those points, but they don't. I think they make very few errors.
Right. They don't turn the ball over much at all.
They have something a lot of teams don't now, and that's experience.
Yep, not only turning the ball over, but that experience, taking the right shots and making that extra pass.
I mean, it's a lot like how we see Michigan State go deep in the tournament every year because of their experience.
Yep.
Now Wichita State's going to have that as opposed to Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke teams that don't really have that experience.
How would you like to see the older Wiggins versus the younger Wiggins in a tournament? In a tournament game?
That would be cool. It would be cool to see a Kansas-Wichita State showdown. I can't deny that. They average 10 turnovers a game, which is pretty good. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any games where they've had. Let's see. They have Fred VanVleet has 157 of their turnovers, so most of their turnovers come from one guy, but they're averaging 10 a game.
That's going to be the
point
case
guard.
with most teams.
So, yeah, they're not turning the ball over. They're scoring 76 points a game, which I'm going to say is probably top 15 in the country. Not very good at rebounding, 39 a game, 14 assists, which I'm going to say is probably top 10 in the country, and then 10 turnovers, which is going to be pretty good. So I think they're making a strong case. I mean, you could say their strength of schedule, and we all know it's weak, but if they can win 34, 35 games in a row, I don't know how you can deny them. What do you think?
Hey, I'm sorry. I was looking at the text message I just got a text message from a good friend, David Coffey.
Heard of
And
him.
he informs me that I live a boring life if this is all I have to do on Saturday morning. No, he said he informed me that Timmy Coffey actually went to Colorado and Idaho to elk hunt.
Colorado and Idaho did not go to Michigan.
Didn't go bear hunting in Michigan?
Maybe he was just being prepared in case he ran up on a bear.
Unless David knows nothing about it, then I don't think so.
We're going to have him on because I believe he's went bear hunting somewhere.
I think I don't remember if he. I mean, this is what I was saying last night. Is I don't remember him going bear hunting, but I do remember him going to Idaho. I remember that vividly.
We're going to have him on and ask him about this.
He may have been training for it in hopes of maybe one day going.
Well, that's a good point. He could have been.
Still be training.
He could have put in for some sort of lottery and been training in case he got it.
It's better. It's best. I guess what is that? A Boy Scouts motto: always prepared.
Always be prepared. Yeah. Bruce, have you ever put in for the Kentucky State elk draw?
No, I did not. I did, however, put in for the Sandhill Crane with David Coffey.
Yeah, you got that. You drew that, didn't you?
I've never done the elk. No, I've never applied for it.
But you did draw a Sandhill Crane tag, didn't you? You killed a Sandhill Crane, correct?
No, I did not. I shot at a bunch.
Hey, I know there's a good gun you had. That gun can kill some animals.
Well, that gun, I've heard it's killed about 100 turkeys. So
that might be an exaggeration, but without exaggerating, at least 50 or 60.
Probably.
Got it.
Whose gun was it?
It was mine.
Probably about 30 in 1 year.
Yeah, there's been a few years when I went a little overboard on the turkey. But here's my thoughts on turkeys. People don't understand how many we actually have now. And people don't understand how good they taste. And if I'm going to eat it, I'm going to shoot it.
What about if you like the way humans taste?
I've never tasted human.
But what about if you did and you liked it?
I try not to get caught, just like I do with turkeys.
There's a bunch of humans, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little overpopulated in certain areas.
I
so
agree.
You can just go pick some off.
Yeah.
Put them in the freezer. All right, Bruce. Well, we appreciate you coming on. We got a couple more callers to get to, but we appreciate you joining us.
Appreciate y'all having me. Y'all have a good day.
All right, we'll holler at you when it's over. Thanks, Bruce.
That's Justin Bruce with the little outdoor talk. Just a reminder that outdoor talk is fueled by Corey's Coon and Coyote Calls. If you're looking to score a trophy coon or coyote, then Corey's Coon and Coyote Calls has a call just for you. I never go coon or coyote hunting without my Corey's Coon or Coyote Call. So that was kind of our outdoor talk. I know we usually get to that in the last 30 minutes, but it was kind of a privilege to have Bruce on there with us, talk about their tales from the lake. And I think we got another caller on the line here. We got Cody Hammer with us. Corey, are you?
Hey, Daniel, how's it going?
Doing great, Cody. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. I got a question for you guys.
Okay.
All right. If I was to give you 5 teams that you could say would win the NCAA tournament, which 5 teams would it pick? You had to guarantee they would win. Which 5 teams?
So you're guaranteeing that one of the 5 would win?
One of y'all's 5 picks. Which one would it be? Which teams would y'all pick?
Combined 5.
Right. You go first.
Michigan State. Kansas. Syracuse. Florida. I'm going to throw Wichita State in there.
Okay. I'm going to go Michigan State. I'm going to go Kansas.
We need to write this down.
I get 5, right?
Yeah.
I got Michigan State, Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, and I'm going to say Creighton.
That's not a bad pick, honestly. And I don't know that I said anything on the radio. I don't know if they heard my picks.
Did y'all hear Daniel's picks?
I said Michigan State, Florida, Syracuse, Wichita State, and Kansas.
Hey, Cody, were you listening to the Bruce call just then?
I was listening to it, and my app messed up, and I couldn't hear it.
Could you hear him? Could you hear him talking all right?
Yeah, it sounded pretty good.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure working with this new equipment here. Who would be your 5?
My 5, Kentucky for one. I'd say Wichita State, Syracuse, Kansas, and probably Creighton. Because that one guy could sure shoot some threes.
Dougie McBaskets is teaching.
Best college basketball player I've ever watched before. All right, go ahead.
I was going to say he can sure shoot them. I know that.
He can shoot it. He can make his own shots, and he can defend it. He's an all-around great player. Works really hard without the ball, too. We appreciate you coming on.
That's a great call, Cody. I appreciate the question. Sparks a nice little debate. We'll put up our answers here on the Twitter before the day's over, so y'all can see how we did when it comes to end of April here, beginning of April.
All right, we appreciate you coming on, Cody.
All right, thanks.
We just want to remind you that all today's callers and guests are brought to you by Hoover Auto Parts. Hoover Auto Parts are the most reliable auto parts in the industry and are sure to keep you on the road through the most extreme conditions. Florida and Syracuse you both put on there, and I think most people would. It's just I feel like both of those teams can be offensively challenged.
Yeah, especially Syracuse. I had to go with them.
Right, I just feel like
in the country right now, but I can see where they can not score enough points.
Especially Syracuse playing a 2-3 against a mid-major who can shoot the 3
against Creighton.
Right,
I think Creighton would cause some trouble for Syracuse.
I just believe they could end up in a bad matchup easy.
Yep, I agree. Especially against a team like Gonzaga, like you said, a mid-major, or a team that has a lot of smaller guards that are pure shooters. I think could put trouble on Syracuse. That being said, I just thought I'd show them a little respect. Normally, I would have said Kentucky. I was just trying to be a little unbiased.
Right, and Kentucky sure isn't playing like a national champion. But if
talent alone, you got to take a flyer on them.
If the talent ever got together, kind of like what I said with Oklahoma State.
Exactly. If the wheels get all turned in the same direction, might be pretty tough to beat.
But we've got a lot left to talk about. We're going to try to get which we meant to do at this segment of the show. We didn't get to it. The Daytona 500. A lot to talk about there. The recap of last week. We'll try to get to that during the next segment of the show. Leading off with that. What about the poll question? Do you believe the NCAA should ban court storming?
Let me refresh it here. Make sure we get you the most up to date results, and it is 60-40 in favor of no.
So it looks like yes is making a comeback.
Making a rally here.
There are some people who do believe that the NCAA should ban court storming.
Somebody's got my back.
So we'll talk about that a little more. We'll get to the Daytona 500. We still want to talk about MLB, NBA, NFL, local sports.
And I got a delicious
That's right.
beer recipe for you coming up probably in the third hour. So y'all hang on. Don't forget to refresh your browsers. Keep watching us for a little behind the scenes on tdshow.com. We'll be back in about 4 minutes and 40 seconds.